We are live at the For All Service event where you can get legal information. There are hundreds of volunteers. Speaking of which, we have one right here, Manisha Patel. I want you to tell me, why did you choose to volunteer?
So I've been volunteering since I became a licensed attorney. It's literally my favorite day to be a lawyer. I can't tell you how much it helps the community to be able to provide what I can have, my skills, my education to members of the community, and not just Guilford County, Greensboro. This is statewide. So I volunteer because I have a passion for serving others. It's been ingrained into me as a child, and this is just one of the many avenues I have to do that.
And how touching is it to, get to talk to these people firsthand and really kind of just give them the information that they've been looking for?
I mean, sometimes I can't even give them the answers they need or that they want, but they're just so appreciative that someone was listening. Someone can, just listen to them and give them any even resources. A lot of people, I'm a family law attorney. A lot of people don't know where to start, and family law is such a emotional, high emotion area, stress, and if I can give them just the basic information or resources where if they can handle something on their own, then it's a success, and it means the world to me that I can do that for members of our community.
Well, we appreciate you being here, and again, time is ticking. It is almost up. It ends at 7 p.m. Take a look at your screen. Call this number, 336-355-6262. You can talk to attorneys specializing in traffic accidents, family law, wills, taxes, and more.
All right, Hunter, thank you so much, and we appreciate your reporting out there. We'll check back in with you at 6. Today we are talking the rules of the road and some of the most common questions and violations police officers see. With us today is Greensboro Police Officer Thomas Spetzer answering all of your questions. Sir, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so you can go ahead and send those questions in now to the number right here on your screen. That's 336-379-5775. All right, let's go ahead and start here. First things first, windshield tinted windows. What is the law about tinting your windows?
So we're seeing a lot more of windshields that are tinted, and if you'll look on your windshield, there's a small line up at the left that says AS1. Any tint below that line is actually illegal and comes with a pretty hefty fine. And again, we're seeing a lot more cars these days that just have the full windshield tinted, sometimes tinted really, really dark to where we can't see inside the vehicle. And it makes it a danger and a hazard for us as police officers if we have to approach a vehicle or stop a vehicle, not to be able to see who the driver or the occupants are.
And if someone feels like their windows might be too tinted, is there a way that they can get it checked to see that?
Well, they can go to any tint place, any place that applies or installs tint, and have them check it to see what the percentage. As far as the other windows go, like your front driver and passenger windows, they can't be darker than 35% visibility. So they have to be 35% or above to be within that legal range.
Okay. And you see them all the time, license plate covers. What do drivers need to keep in mind before buying one of those?
So the letter of the law is, there's, just about every car has a license plate frame, whether it be an alumni or favorite sports team or your son or daughter goes to a specific college, but any portion of a license plate frame that conceals or covers the state or any letter or number is actually illegal. And I know I see frames all the day and frames all day long, every day, that do cover a portion of the state or maybe some of the letters and numbers. But as far as my personal preference, as long as I can still read the state, that I'm okay with it. But by the letter of the law, if it covers any portion of the state or any letter or number, then it is illegal.
Okay. And we've seen some deadly crashes recently involving both first responders and then those working on the road. Can you explain the move over law? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so anytime there is an emergency vehicle on the side of the road, whether it be on the left shoulder or the right shoulder, and they have their lights on, then it is the law for you to move over to the next lane or more if those lanes are available. And in some cases on a major highway where there's a lot of traffic and there is an emergency vehicle on the shoulder, sometimes you can't move over. So in that case, you need to slow down. And that same thing applies if you're on a 2-lane road when there is no other lane to move into. You must slow down when you're approaching and passing an emergency vehicle with its lights on. An emergency vehicle with the lights on includes police, fire, EMS, tow trucks, IMAP trucks that are on the road assisting motorists. Any vehicle, any emergency vehicle that has their lights on that's on the shoulder, you have to move over or slow down while passing.
What would you say is the most common driver mistake when it comes to that move over law?
Well, I see every day, all day, people just don't move over, and there's a lane there. They could have the lane open beside them, and I think it's maybe an unfamiliarity with the law, just not realizing that is and indeed a law. But if I'm assisting a motorist on the side of the road, or I have a car stopped on the side of the road, or assisting a tow truck driver on the side of the road, I see it all day long where people just don't move over.
Yeah, and we've all been there, stuck in traffic, trying to make the light, and then you pull into the intersection hoping traffic will move before the light turns red. Explain why you should not block intersections.
That is against the law. The general statute states that you may not enter an intersection where you don't have enough room to move through the intersection before the light changes, as not to impede traffic coming from the other directions. So, and I'm guilty of it. You don't realize that traffic is stopping ahead of you, so you get stopped, and it's an accident on your part. But there are some people that just continue into the intersection knowing that they're not going to make it through the light, and then they are therefore impeding traffic in the other directions. And again, that's against the law.
Yeah. Well, we got some questions rolling in here now. So let's start with this one. Is it okay to turn left on red on a one-way street?
It is not.
Okay.
The only time that you can turn red is to turn right.
Okay. Another question here. What about the off-road lights in vehicles with headlights out? Does that make sense to you?
If I'm understanding the question, I believe that they're talking about these light bars that a lot of off-road vehicles have, which is just a straight bar with LED lights. If that's what they're talking about, and if that's what and if they're asking, can they use that in place of headlights, then the answer is no. You have to be able to, your vehicle has to be able to burn headlights and utilize those headlights, and you can't use something in lieu of that, even if your headlights aren't working properly.
Okay, all right. Well, let's pause right here. We're talking all things rules of the road. So if you have any questions, go ahead and send those in. The number is right there at the bottom of your screen.